So shtickle agadete. Also, just not as an intro. Okay, basically the Gemara very often when you have a name that right, the Gemara's connection sometimes between one shtickle and the next sometimes can be only based upon that it's the same rabbi or the same people saying it, and it can have no shaycha. So this next Gemara is not connected b'chlal to the Megila. It's simply because it's the same. Mamash Yetzke got to the next shtickle. We chazed because Reb David missed yesterday, and we knew the oil was maybe by knockout. So, but by the way, we're Shmili. It's a good time to listen to that because we're getting into the easier Gemuras. Mamash still getting into the easier Gemuras. Like this. With 3 lines to the bottom. We're doing Sachakal 6 lines tonight. And like I just said, the only reason we have this Gemara has no shaykhs to Megillas Esther is because if you look at the previous shtickle, it's the same 2 names, but it's no Menatzpich. What's Menatzpich? What we call by Hasidim the Ende Oisius, Ende Mem, Ende Nian. And by you it's Sophis probably, especially if you grew up here in Miami. It's the Nun Sophis and the Mem Sophis. Kids, Ende Mem, Ende Nian, Ende Tzadik, Ende Pei, and Ende Chuf. Tzoifim Amriu. Tzoifim means Nevi'im. It's called Tzoifim because they're seers. A Tzoifim in Aramaic is somebody that sees, that looks far.
Visionaries.
The visionaries. I like the Chayzer from the Blin, he was a seer. So Bekitzer, the Ende Oisias were said by the Nevi'im. They came up with it. Says the Gemara, wait a minute. V'tizbere, you really want to be masber like this? Do you really want to tell me? It says Eile ha-mitzvahs asher tziva Hashem es Moshe. These are the mitzvahs that the Eibishter gave Moshe. You're not allowed to be michadesh anything. You're not allowed to add to the Torah. So how can you tell me that the Nevi'im came and added the endemems and all these things? Menatzbech, you're not allowed to touch the Torah. Meaning, again, by the way, you could say Chachumim, Chazal, there's a lot of the Rabunans, 100%. Here, I looked around in the Mefarshim a little bit. They explained that if you think about it, before there was an Endemem, a Sefer Torah would be completely different. Before, let's say if they invented an Endemem and an Endenun, so then before what they did, a Sefer Torah was only kosher like this, and now that same Sefer Torah is possible because it's missing an Endemem, meaning it would come out that they really messed around with the Torah. They mamash modified. You can make a chazal, you can make a chachumim, a decree. Don't carry on Shabbos, whatever, but they can't. Says the Gemara, you're not allowed to add anything. And another thing, this is going to be a very interesting question. The last words on the Umar of Chizde, mem v'samech shebelichis b'nes haya amdim. The mem and the samech of the lichis when Moshe Rabbeinu. This is very interesting. Think about the end mem and the samech. They are round. Means, just an introduction. The lichis was darach and adarach. It was cut through all the way. A stone that was cut through. So if you think about it, you could carve. This is a very interesting stamp. A gemur. You could carve out, let's say, a regular nian, and you'll have the shape around it, but an endemem and a samach have that round piece in the middle. That's what the Gemara says. They were there, b'derech nes. When Moshe Rabbeinu came down with those big stone lichas, they were floating in the middle of the air. The only letters that have a middle part that are, I'll just tell you examples. So I'm in Chayde, right? A lot. So they have those things that you trace. I should have bought it. If I would have realized that by Eli Stefanski, I would have bought it. I would have put it in my bag. But those things that you traced, that you have as a kid, Aleph, by the endemem and the samach have to have a little plastic piece in the middle that sort of messes up the letter because they have to have that middle piece in place so that you would draw around it when you make it. So Bekitza, the mem and the samach were benes hayamdim, they were mitanes. And what do we see from that? We see, you can't tell me that the Nevi'im came up with an endemem and a samach, because we just said it, that when Moshe Rabbeinu came down from the lichas in the first place, there was already Benesai Amdim, which means we already had an endemem. Because the endemem is like this, it had to be floating in the middle of the air. Says the Gemara, and you're right. There was such a thing as a mem and a samach already to begin with, and an endani and all that. The Gemara is giving a first answer. It's not going to stay with this. that we didn't know if what we call an end of mem was at the end of the word, or maybe that was really the real mem and the other mem was at the end of the word. Meaning we didn't know where it went. Hai be'emtza taiva, v'hai be'saf taiva. We didn't know which was the beginning of the word, in the middle of the word, which one is the end. V'uset tzayfim, the Nevi'im came, v'takniyu, they were masakin, psichen be'emtza, what we call an open mem, right? Because a regular mem is open, and an end of mem is completely closed. The Nevi'im came, and they were masakin that the open ones should be in the middle of a word, a steam and besaf taiva, and a closed end of mem should be the one at the end. Says the Gemara, saf saf, ayya mitzvah sha'ayna novi usil chadash dov ma'atu. Says the Gemara, wait a minute, at the end of the day, I'm still not happy. It says that the Nevi'im, this is the mitzvahs, and Novi cannot add. So how can they say what should be in the middle of the word, what should be the end? They can't even decide things like that. And here's where we're going to stop. Says the Gemara, Elu shukucham, we knew it, we had it. It was forgotten over time. Here's the psimi. It was forgotten over time. They didn't make anything up. It was there. They forgot about it, and they just came back and they reestablished what the old custom was. They did their research, but they never invented anything new because they have no permission to do this. So this is where we're going to stop.